So we talk about optimal teaser strategies, and Stanford Wong, and again, Stanford Wong, not his name. I believe it's John Ferguson, by the way. Stanford Wong is a pseudonym, wrote the book on betting, sports betting back in the day, and he talks about the optimal teaser legs, which again, we've said many times. Favorites of between 7.5 and 8.5, home favorites of between 7.5 and 8.5, teased down through the 7 and 3, and then home and road dogs of 1.5 to 2.5, teased up through the 3 and the 7. Do you think, Bill, that we have arrived at a point, because nothing is eternal. No strategies work in perpetuity. Do you think we've gotten to the point where with 2-point conversions, strange coaching decisions on how to use the 2-point conversion, that we've reached an era where even that, there might be holes to be poked through it, that perhaps the long teaser legs are not long for being the most optimal given how the game is changing?
Or are you saying that it might be a little more beatable?
What I'm saying is
than it was once 5 years ago?
What I'm saying is what was once the most clearly plus EVs teaser legs, I think it deserves to be voiced that perhaps we should monitor that moving forward based on the way the game is played now.
Very good. Very good. Very good example. And it's possible that it might be harder than ever to win a teaser, in my opinion, though. So I talked about this last season with somebody because of these different changes, and so I think it deserves to be looked at further. You're right. Yeah,
I just think look, nothing. If things worked forever, this would be far easier.
Yeah,
you have to adapt with the the game, the market, and that's what makes this so difficult.
Sure.
So what do you have tonight? Do you have Tampa Bay and all these teaser legs as well?
I do. It doesn't pay to. I hate giving out picks. I think I gave out UCLA last week here.
Yeah.
And UCLA, the reason why I said they're a much improved team. They played Hawaii the week before that. I said they may give LSU fits. It's not rewarding in the end. I gave out something last year, and people picked me apart when two people come on Twitter and rip me apart when I lost. But you give out a good thing. I give out on almost every single media I did last week. Yep. I said UCLA is much improved. Nevada's much improved. They beat a bad California team, but these teams they have a lot of talent. Nevada and UCLA may be better than people think. And it's so hard to give out things. But yes, we talked about. I did one teaser with Tampa Bay and the Rams. I hate teasing road teams.
I do too, but
I understand. Like is San Fran on the road at Detroit?
San Fran's on the road, but I did
Detroit's terrible. So it's I understand why. And I do it once in a while. But this week, it's a 2 home teams. I think it's a good teaser.
I guess that's what
6-point teaser.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm saying. Is for me. Yes, I know. Like if you dare voice that you're doing a teaser that doesn't involve just the long teaser legs, people are like, you don't know what you're doing.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And I'm saying, okay, easy. We don't know that like the game is changing, and perhaps there's different ways to do this kind of thing.
And guys, save your money. Do not tease totals, please.
Yes.
I know a guy that I respect that teases NFL totals. Do not tease NFL totals, please.
Let's get into that for a second and give the reasons why.
We just talked about teasing NFL totals a little bit.
Yes, let's do that.
Yeah, no, I don't agree with it at all. I don't think teasing totals in any sport, by the way, and is worth it. And NFL, where the average total has probably went up 3-4 points the last couple of years, I just don't think that teasing totals is not that I don't think it's a fact. You cannot make money teasing NFL totals. Don't even try it. I mean, the sides play more true, of course, than totals in any sport anyway. But both teams have to show up and do exactly what they're supposed to do to reach that number or around that number. And I just don't think it's worth it.
Let me ask you about that, because I've said that about college basketball, pro basketball, college football. That intuitively, you don't even have to know the math, but intuitively you get that the scoring is much more volatile in those sports. And so, therefore, the value of every point is much less than it is in the National Football League, which tends to stay much more cozy to the spread itself. So that should make intuitive sense. But when it comes to totals in the National Football League, let me just ask you one question about that. You subscribed, past tense, I'm not sure if I'm going to ask you if you still do subscribe, to the fact that there are key numbers with totals, or no?
Yeah, sure. I mean, 37 was always a key number, but games aren't like 37
exist anymore. So do key numbers exist now that aren't 37?
Yes.
Okay.
I would think yes. I don't actually have them in front of me, but
So if you tease through those, though, then it wouldn't
no,
be? No.
I don't think so.
Not the
No, the
same.
key numbers when you're talking key numbers, you want to make sure you get that number. So let's say I know for a fact a couple of years ago 43 was a ridiculous number. How many? So 43. You want to make sure if you're going over 43, you get that 43 and not 43 and a half. And I'm not saying buy to it either. I won't buy on a total either. Very rare will I buy on a total unless I have a real unique situation. But yeah, no. Even the key numbers. It's a key number to bet over or under, not on a teaser, especially with the teaser prices the way they are now. What's going on in the industry?
How often do you buy off 3s or 7s?
It's hard to do it too. I mean, 3 is a key number, yes, but it's not as valuable as it once was. 3 was a more valuable number before they moved 10 yards for the extra point.
So this is getting back to what I was saying about the Wong teasers, right?
Right.
At some point, this is exactly what I'm talking about. At some point, you have to acknowledge that these things are not static. They do not have the same value that they used to have.
They don't.
Yeah.
7 also. 7 is not as valuable as it once was, especially the going for 2, the missed extra points. College football, the 7's is a keyer number than the 3s. The 7's are more important in college football. If it's $1.10, which I still have places that do only charge 10 cents more on the 7 in college, it's worth doing. Teasing from 7 to 6.5, or if you have the dog, teasing from 7 to 7.5. As far as pros, listen, I come from a school 30 years ago when we were buying on or off for 3 for 10 cents. On Fridays, I had 2 different spots that charge no juice on Fridays. No juice Fridays. So they will allow you to move to 3 to 2.5, 3 to 3.5 for nothing.
Remember those offshore promotions back in the day?
Game day, Aces Gold, which was Sports Market, which screwed me for $40,000 by the way in the end. But I mean, but it doesn't matter. I made more than that over the years with them. That's another thing. You're only as good as your bookmaker too, by the way.